Yes, it may be Oscar night in America, but no acting going on here. Straight racing as we get you ready for the 5th round of the Sim500 North Carolina 811.org Grand National Series as we go racing tonight in the Diamond in the Desert, the 1 mile Phoenix Raceway. The place that will crown the champion later on this season is the host of round number 5 this evening as we get ready to rock and roll in Sim500 action. 125 laps tonight, the usual weather for the race tonight. This 1.017 mile oval. Well, it's not really an oval. It's more of a weird-looking shaped oval. But we get ready to go racing here in just a few moments. I'm the captain, Chris Scala, as we welcome you in and get you ready for 125 laps of racing. Should be a very fun night. Of course, we've seen 4 fantastic races so far, including last week. A continuation of a streak of caution-free races. Will we make it tonight? Well, the odds are not so much. But that's why we run the race, right? As they say. But I think you're going to see great racing tonight. Hearing a lot of different issues for the cars out here on this very slick and hot track. Let's take a look at the points standings. And I want to send a shout out to Michael Kelly, who corrected me last week. I had been saying for a while that the top 10 make the playoffs, but I was so used to the winter series that I never corrected myself. 16 cars actually make the playoffs in the 811 Grand National Series, so all the way down to Troy Radford, who's 70 points out. They are in right now the playoffs, and then below them, Glenn Campbell, Joey Jatina, Thomas Lewandowski, Joe Hudson, and Nigel Standish. Those guys right now out of the playoffs if it were to start tonight. But the good news, there is still plenty of races ready to rock and roll. Let's take a look at the previous winners here at this track. Josh Parker, of course, winning last season in spectacular fashion. He and Daniel Falkingham battling for the lead. And unfortunately, there was some contact, brought a caution out late, and Josh Parker ended up getting a victory lane in that race. Falkingham did win in 2021. Donnie Leah, 2020. Byron Daly, and then look at there, Josh Parker in 2018. So, Parker, the only 2-time winner here at this track. Well, tonight, will we see a new winner? More than likely, yes, because as I look through the field, I do not see Josh Parker's name. So that means there is 0 repeat winners in this field right now. So we will have a new winner here in Phoenix coming up in 125 or so laps in this race. As practice just about to wrap up here in a couple minutes. Mike Kelly up there at the top of the board right now. And of course, Pedro Mojica winning 2 of the first 4 events in the season. Mike Kelly got himself a win. Also in the season that was back at the Daytona International Speedway in February. Won the opening race, and then Pedro won the next 2. Justin Fuller with the victory lane in Las Vegas. And as I said, we are looking at least 220 laps of caution-free racing so far in this season. 2 straight races. Can we make it 3 tonight? We'll have to see. Now, if we go all the way back to Homestead Miami Speedway, we only had a couple cautions in that race, so I'm pretty sure we're up to about 250 laps or so. Unfortunately, I don't have a number for you. But I do know one thing. We've had some caution-free racing this season. Is qualifying about to begin, so let's go down to the track as we're about to watch a very entertaining session here, I believe, because you're going to see cars using that dog leg as much as possible in the shortcut in that area. Yeah, I think that's going to create some pretty good drama here. As a matter of fact, Justin Fuller going to be one of the first cars out as we check in on the 51 car. He's got a sponsor on there, Units. He said he wanted somebody on the car this week, and, well, he got his wish. He actually is going to slow up and redo his qualifying run. You do get 2 laps, and unfortunately, he did cross the line the first time, so he's only going to get 1 lap when it's all said and done. Here's Pedro Mojica. Let's get the point standings off the board, shall we, Scala? Down the back straightaway into turn 3 for Mojica. First lap's being thrown down right now. It is Troy Radford on the pole, and then Mike Kelly jumps up there, 27.86. As Mojica is going to go for 2. Mike Kelly pulled it off track after that lap. Bob Gillenwater, 28.04. He qualifies up in the 5th position right now. Chad Coleman is 16th fastest. Let's follow the Nas Camaro around the track. As you see Tyler Dalton in the purple. Tyler under the weather, but he don't care. Brings it down to the apron as he's second right now, 27.90. He said he didn't plan on racing much tonight. He was going to get laps in and then call it a night, as he's unfortunately got some migraine issues. That's something I hope I never have to worry about in my life, but I'm not holding my breath. As he goes through 3 and 4, brings it off. Low and tight off the corner, and his time is yellow. It looks like he'll match it and still be P2. So Mike Kelly on the pole still right now. He seems to be the guy to beat when it comes to qualifying in these Xfinity cars. Let's jump Trey Eitzen here in the 7. Trey jumps to 8th right now, 28.03. I think the camera missed Eitzen coming through the corner. Hate when that happens. Fire that cameraman. Of course, the different degrees of banking. Steepest part of the track right there, 11 degrees. Off of turn number 4 down the front straightaway, and then turn 1 at 9. The more sweeping parts of the racetrack as Eitzen stays P8. So time's obviously falling off after 1 lap. Let's hit Kevin Stone here. Kevin in the white Trans-Service car. Yeah, I'm downshifting through 3 and 4 and off the corner. Takes the shortcut through the dog leg as much as possible. Arcs it into the corner. Kelly, Dalton, Fuller, Mojica, Coleman, your top 5 as we have a little less than a minute to go. Coleman crosses the line, and he moves to 13th. 28.09 as Tom Dreiling out there running laps, and the boss man on the track. You see the 811 colors on the hood of his car. So a reminder, the Pole Award here going to be awarded in a second. Brought to you by the North Carolina 811. Call before you dig. Who was it that had the 811 on their Xfinity car yesterday? It was it the 24 car? One of the... I'm trying to remember exactly. As Joey runs out of time, and will qualify 31st, unfortunately. So we do get the 1 minute warm up here. We'll come back and we'll talk to our pole sitter here at the Phoenix Raceway as we step away. And as you're watching Sim500 in the 811 Grand National Series here on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
All right, as we get ready for 125 laps of action from the Phoenix Raceway, we welcome you into Sim500 and the 811 Grand National Series. As the starting lineup, we'll actually put it across the screen here, with Mike Kelly on the pole, with Justin Fuller there on the outside lane, Tyler Dalton, Pedro Mojica, row 2, Chad Coleman, Troy Radford, row 3, Joy Woods, Bob Gillenwater, Trey Eidson, and Scott Simley, your top 10 tonight. Going to be a quick pace lap here. But a big shout out to Mike Kelly. We'll try to get a word with him if we get a caution tonight. But he is the winner of the 811 Pole Award tonight. Make sure, again, if you call before you dig, call 811. Here's our race info for tonight. 125 laps, 3 sets of tires, and 100% fuel in the car. We'll see if that comes into play this evening as Mike Kelly brings them to the green flag with Tyler Dalton on his outside. Race number 5 is green from Phoenix. And we have some wrecking over in turn 1 and 2. And just like that, the caution streak is gone. No pressure tonight. Applaud them while they have it. But unfortunately, caution comes out quick. Garrett Austin involved. It looks like Ron Holyfield, Kevin Stone. Pretty good-sized wreck here. Brings out that first caution as they take the green flag here. Let's see what happens as we roll that beautiful bean footage. Not so beautiful for some. And let's actually go to a different camera because the camera didn't cut to it. This is one of those things where it didn't get in range, unfortunately, and it doesn't cut away. So this is Garrett Austin. It's going to happen a little forward up, farther up, it looks like. Oh, no, right there. 23 and 32 come together. There's a 17. Nice job by Jatina to get away from that. The 11 of Holyfield goes up there and smacks the wall. Still not sure how it all started, but this will be a quick caution because there's nobody a lap down. So let's watch one more time here from our drone. So Austin like he checked up early for the corner, and the three of them just come together. Not a good start, unfortunately, for those guys. Now, our cameras tonight are presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums, or, of course, at TrackCams22.com, their website. As apparently I was supposed to talk to the driver of the two, Mr. Pole Sitter, all of a sudden this season. Turn 1 Hero Zone, as we should get one to go this time by, so we'll get a quick word with him here as we bring him up to our channel. Mike, you got a copy there, buddy? All right, let me turn your microphone on first off before we pull this little stunt again. Great job on that pole award. Obviously, they wanted me to talk to you because they wrecked before they got to turn 1. But great job. Expectations tonight, because you seem to be on a roll with these poles.
Yeah, once again, blasted practice and got a good run thanks to NC811 and Trans Service. I have pretty high expectations tonight. Justin's hard to beat. But it's one of my better tracks. I run good here. Setup feels good to me. A lot of guys talking about the setup, but I think it's going to be tight on the long runs. I'm not sure. Going to try to go to halfway here. Could be different fuel strategies. So we'll just have to see how much green racing we get.
Are you feeling any kind of looseness off at all? Because I know usually when you get tight center at a track like this, usually it brings the loose off from the wheel being turned so much.
Yeah, this track's pretty notorious for being loose off, especially off turn 2 there. But I haven't ran any super long runs. I haven't experienced it yet. I've been trying to get it to free up, actually. So,
awesome. Well, great news there, and thanks to our good friends at Trans Service. They don't know they did this, but they actually allowed me to put a portable broadcast booth up on Monument Hill in Turn 2. So here I am. Yes, Rattlesnake Hill, it's otherwise known as, but I'll share that story later, why it's called that. But great job tonight, man. Congratulations.
Thanks. Hope to talk to you later.
Sounds good, Mike. Be safe. Mike Kelly. Thanks to him, by the way, for reminding me again that 16 make the playoffs, not 10. He's like the guy that I need to turn to when I need help with something.
That's right.
Yes. Mike for president. There you go. All right, so pace car lights are off, as you see up there in the front. Our cameras tonight, as I mentioned, presented by TrackCams22.com. Appreciate everybody joining us here this evening as the caution streak is out of the way. That's fine. No pressure now. That means you can go and race. As Kelly will have Justin Fuller on his outside, Tyler Dalton, Chad Coleman, Pedro Mojica. Your top 5, Doy Woods, Troy Radford, Bob Gillenwater, Trey Eidson, and Jeff Ryan. As they come into the restart zone right there, and they will take the green flag and go back racing here at lap number 6. Everybody scatters. Oh, some looseness back there mid-pack. Looks like Radford got a little loose there, and maybe Gillenwater out of shape as down the back straightaway. 3, 4 wide into turn 1. Kevin Brown locks him up. Steve Ritter in the middle somewhere. Oh, good grief. Cars diving everywhere right now into turn 1. E.J. O'Rourke down there in Tucson trying to make a pass as he's got the 10 to his outside there. They've calmed themselves up front for the most part. Back here's where the mess is. So they separate themselves into the corner, starting to kind of single file it out. I mean, there were times on the restart yesterday when I was watching the actual Xfinity race, I was seeing cars. That don't surprise me. I was seeing cars over in turn 1 and 2 about a groove up from the inside wall. Now, when you look at turn 1 and 2, you notice there's no grass. So when I say the inside wall, I mean, yeah, they were all the way down near that seam down there to the far right. And I'm like, I don't know if they're going to make turn 2 here because there's a wall right there that is the pits. And actually, Bobby, there's no cussing on the radio because I have the access to the chat in my ears right now, and they're not saying a word. I think this is fun to them. under attack there. Kevin Brown there behind him for the 14th position. So we ride with Ritter. As up ahead, Nigel Standish and Jimmy Coleman. These guys, you're going to hear some shifting out of these Grand National cars. Garrett Austin finally leaving pit road. And we have got ourselves a battle for the lead up here. Justin Fuller starting to put some pressure on Mike Kelly. In F51, you see Chad Coleman, Doy Woods right back there in that 28 car. And then Mojica there in the 5th position. There's Tyler Dalton. I mentioned a little bit under the weather, just trying to get some laps in. It's what he said he was going to do. But oh, and Kevin Brown has gone around in turn 1 and 2 here, and it looks like he's able to save it. No caution as the 93 carries on. Kevin not having a good Grand National season at all. See what happens here to the 93. He's got Bob Gillenwater there behind him. Hits that apron, and you see the car just move around when you do that. And he gets, just misjudgment, him and Ritter. And he goes for a 4-wheel drift, clips the inside wall just a slight bit. Keeps it down there on the apron. And that keeps the green out right now. We got the battle for the lead, and then we got these 4 cars here under a blanket. As the 44 Campbell looks inside, the 12 was Simley. Jimmy Coleman's here with Nigel Standish also. You can definitely tell who's shifting and who's not out here right now. They drag Jeff Ryan into the battle now. This is at the 8th position. Nothing up front yet. They're within about a 10th as Kelly tries to hold Fuller off, and here he comes. Justin Fuller said last week after his win at Vegas, he said, hey, somebody come get on my car, and that's exactly what has happened. Units on the car. And he looks to pick up right where he left off in Sin City last week as Fuller to the inside. Got the lap car coming up. We have our first modified on track this season. And Fuller's going to take it away. So move the Ford in the 51 to the front. Lead change number 1. Hello, sir. Always appreciate the viewers joining tonight, watching on the stream. If you're coming from the Captain Esports Network YouTube or the Captain Facebook page or the Sim500 Facebook page. Either way, appreciate you joining us, and you can hit subscribe on whichever button you want to or whatever channel you're watching from. And always be here to watch broadcast. Of course, tonight, tomorrow night, the Cup Series here at Phoenix. Going to be some slight changes to that race. Normally, they start their sim race at noon for practice, but they're actually pushing it back as Coleman gets the wall off too a little bit there. They're pushing their time back to 2 o'clock because the car is very loose driving, and they want to kind of keep the track from slicking up, so they're going to push it back a little bit to bring the track temp down, which is probably a good idea on a track like this, because right now you look at the weather here, it is 1:30
I'm looking right now.
race time here And, of course, the default date, which they always do default weather and stuff, is May 15th. Don't ask why iRacing does that, but that's the default date. And, of course, it's 130. You see the 1329 right there? But down at the bottom is the main number I want you to see here. 134. That's the track temp right now on track in this race. So it is very hot, and it's causing issues already as we've had a quick caution there at lap number 1. We've been green here now the last 15 or so laps. As Eric Arnold, who actually won the pole for this race last season, we ride on board with him. Lap car of Gary. Oh, and he gets hit there. Not sure what that was about. He got clobbered by somebody. He was trying to pass the lap car Garrett Austin. I don't know if somebody got loose or what. And this is back at the 19th position. Yeah, if we can figure out what just happened here. He and Branch decided to come together, I guess. So Fuller has not been able to pull away from Kelly at all. It's only 0.2 of a second. Then Kelly's got about a full second on Chad Coleman, who's got about a second on Doy Woods, who's right there with Pedro Mojica. And as you know, track position here, pretty big deal when it comes to racing at this track. Let's check out Nigel Standish. He's to the inside of Jeff Ryan, who's starting to fall back a little bit in that 3 car. 16 of Ritter, and there's the Talking Giants, number 84 of Anthony Calantoni. Ryan in that 811 number 3 car. Should be able to get a run down the back straightaway here. Very tough to pass, especially on older tires. It's just hard to slide up the track there and complete a pass, get the momentum off. Randy Oakham there in the 8. Kelly doing a good job hanging tight there with Fuller. He said he felt like he had a good car here. Great racing throughout the field here. This has been about the best battle right here. About 7 cars under a blanket right now. As EJ O'Rourke's been the biggest mover in the race, he is actually just to the front side of this battle. There he is in that personal comfort number 41 car. As EJ right now is in the 15th position, started in 29th. Of course, he's got to kind of put the patience in the way here and allow this race to kind of come to him with the setup the way it works. And with it being very tough to pass, got to get a lot of aero on your car. A lot of air on the nose. So we move up here. It's Troy Radford, the 94 car, who was pretty fast in practice. Inside of Glenn Campbell, the 44. AC Campbell holds him off right now. You hear him downshift to third. Gotta be careful. You don't want to clip that apron. That thing will get your car all types of out of shape. Listen to the off gas time. That's what makes this Grand National car so fun to drive. The B car, if you will. Using third gear to kind of brake, if you will. Back here, this Hornet's Nest again. They seem to never be able to get away from each other back here around 15th. Mike Montesi joining the battle, and there's a newcomer there in the field, Kyle Merkel, in that 10 car, the Nutrient Ag Solution number 10. A Landon Castle paint scheme, if you will, from last season. As Garrett Austin brings his car to pit road as the 31 goes sideways off the front end of the 6th. Great save on his part.
Wasn't expecting it to slow up that much.
Glove save and a beauty. Unfortunately, with this being a track that races like a short track, one thing you have to prepare for is the cars to have different braking points depending on how your driving style is. If you're one who backs up the corner and carries off the speed off the corner, and then you have somebody behind you that likes to stick it in there deep and then kind of drive off with a loose race car potential or even a tight race car, you got to be careful not to get ran over on entry, and that's exactly what Montesi said on the radio. Is like, I didn't expect you to break that early. So a difference of racing matter, if you will. If we can go back to the save here. It was actually right there, too. Let's go to the 31 on board here. This is what, I don't use this term as much as I used to, but let's use it right here. He had both his hand and feet on the wheel. Yikes! Oh, that's almost full lock right there. Very impressive by the 31 to make that save. I mean, that usually puts you in the wall when that happens.
Sorry, Bobby blinked there, and then I drove in too hard.
Oh, and caution out for the second time. I see Jason Branch involved.
Gotta use your brakes, guys.
Branch, Steve Ritter, others involved, it looks like.
I'm not sure this car has brakes.
Let's see what happens here, because I'm pretty sure we got the leaders coming to pit road. Let's see here.
Not anymore.
Straighten that pack.
88 and 16 don't.
Right there, 3 wide, coming off 2. There's not room there. There's not room there.
Sorry for apologizing.
And there was not room there as they wrecked through turn 2. Jatina gets a piece of it, smacks the inside wall. And others trying to get through that wreck.
Okay, let you gather it up, too. Jesus.
Come on, Bob. You tell me what you Bob.
As caution comes out for the second time, we'll go back to a replay. Right now, leaders are on pit road. One thing about this pit road, it does curve all the way around to turn 4.
Oops.
All 33 cars on the lead. Up, except for Tyler Dalton, misses his pit stall. He'll lead a lap there at least. Give him that benefit, but he'll have to come back to pit road. Race off pit road. I think Coleman got it. All right, we're going to step away for a quick second. We'll come back and get you green flag racing here from the Phoenix Raceway as you're watching the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
I'm gonna clear it. I got a black flag. I stopped and waited, but still didn't stop it. So
We don't carry black flags this week. Do you have damage out there, Fuller?
2 seconds. I barely touched the right.
All right, back we are here from the Phoenix Raceway. Let's go back and look at this replay
I had 5 seconds.
from our drone.
Well, I guess
So as I said, 3 wide normally doesn't work off turn 2. Eric Arnold sticks it up the middle there on Branch and Ritter.
Did you have any, Chad?
And right there's the contact.
Yes. Yes, I did.
And there's Jatina getting
Still
clipped.
does.
And others coming in. Now I want to keep an eye on. So who's that with a T-bone there? Charles Van Schaik. There's one car I want to keep an eye on here.
5 seconds came from the watch.
I believe something happens here.
I had like 15 seconds, so I still got 14. I got it coming off 2.
Unless it was just a message. So obviously the 31, the 88, and the 16 come together. The 14 gets in there, and then the 23 comes in and gets involved. So it looks like maybe it was just a message in the end that got sent out. But I did hear the 6, who I believe, who got into the back of the 31 there a few laps before that, heard him make a comment about, well, man, I apologized. I mean, what else you want me to do or something like that. So obviously 31 didn't seem to be too happy with the 6 after that save on his part. So as we go back to green, lap number 41, Chad Coleman to the front here as we take the green. Justin Fuller, Mike Kelly, Doy Woods, Pedro Mojica, your top 5. One car kind of blinking back there a little bit. Oh, and around EJ O'Rourke. Right in the middle of the field. He goes flying. Jimmy Coleman. O'Rourke, a vicious roll on the front straightaway there. And the third caution comes out.
Turned the parking lot into a...
And I think that's going to turn into a 2, maybe 3 car wreck here. But EJ went for a ride.
Parking lot party.
3 wide up the middle. Contact with Campbell.
Oh,
More contact with Campbell, and then back Campbell to the park got, or the wall got him.
So, are you going to catch up or what?
That wall will do that sometimes. It'll reach out and grab you. And third caution is out.
How bad does it look, Fuller? I'm not going off of it.
I mean, your right rear looks more killed than the right front, but I mean, you have a little bit of right front damage too. But I can see your entire right front fender on the outside of the tire.
Oh, apparently there's some kind of can
That's
opener
all
or
I can
something
hit it
over
on
there
the
in the
front
front straightaway, because that
Yeah,
thing
Mike's
twisted
little bit
and
of
turned
Mike
over.
there, and it pushed and then kind of slid and...
All right, let's
Yeah,
go
I
on
can
board
see it.
here. If you're squeamish, you might not want to watch this.
Oh, so Michael.
Yep. You stole all the white man's there. Lucky dog coming high.
So O'Rourke's going to have to tow back to pit road. Jimmy Coleman going back to pit road, it looks like. Glenn Campbell also. So all three of those cars. As Brian Wortman
Glenn,
is
EJ says that was all your fault. What happened, buddy?
going to get the lucky dog.
EJ's very mad.
You want the play-by-play? EJ decided to make it 3 wide right there, and I didn't go down, and he thought I was going to. So, EJ, the dumbass. Oh!
Well, I guess you guys heard that, huh? Good job of me not turning the microphones off. Anyways, as you see, good audio chat, huh? Good thing I turned the mic off before that. I just realized you guys are hearing all the chat there. It happens. We're on YouTube. What can I say? Sound like we're on a national television. Yep, we heard. So sorry if anyone's offended by that. But that's one of those things where it's either I forget to turn a mic on or I forget to turn a mic off. It's the way it goes, you know? No, I know we don't, but it's more of a professional matter. It's more of a professional manner on our end, my end, myself, or whatever. But, yeah. All right, lights are going to come off here, but Chad Coleman leading this race. Just get a turtle. I'm surprised none of the racers who are watching, because I know there's somebody in this race watching right now on the stream. I'm surprised they haven't said anything like, hey, that's going over the air. I'm waiting for that. It happens. We're not perfect. But either way, going to go green here. And we haven't done this in like 3 weeks in this league because we've had caution-free races the last 2 weeks. So this gives an opportunity, thanks to our good friends at Front Stretch, who, by the way, has a pretty good recap of what happened in today's race at Phoenix in the Cup Series. We're going to go wide open here on the Captain Esports Network and turn it up. Let's turn it up, brought to you by frontstretch.com. Check out their website to get a recap of this weekend's racing at the Phoenix Raceway from the ARCA all the way up to Cup Series. Get some dirt track preview or talks, and including I have to check and see if there's an article yet, but I know there was like a huge fight in a dirt race in Florida last night. Some podcasts on there you can check out and so much more. Also talk with F1 and IndyCar and stuff for you to check out. Am I allowed to say that word? But anyways, you can check it out, frontstretch.com. What are you doing cheating on another corner or another channel? What's wrong with you? Anyways, Justin Fuller's gone to the lead with all that going on. So back to the front he goes. Chad Coleman back to second. Mike Kelly's still there in third. Mojica there fourth. And Doy Woods, so the top five has been about the same all night. There's some contact. Tyler Dalton into the inside wall. He goes ricocheting back on track. More contact. And if Tyler's not feeling good, he's really not feeling good now. Tyler, the pinball wizard, unfortunately, in this one. Let's see what happens. That was not the view I was trying to get to. And Tyler makes contact with somebody on the outside there. That somebody appears to be the 17 of Kevin Stone. Gets the outside wall there, and up there, there's the contact. A little net code maybe, and then unfortunately Tyler is a ping pong ball at this point. Andrew Teft gets into him. And up here for second, here comes the two. As we're about 5 laps away from the halfway point in this race. A lot of people said Fuller would be the guy to watch tonight. And he has definitely shown it. He got that sponsorship he talked about last week. He's like, give me a sponsor. Somebody get on his car. And he definitely got it. Somebody was paying attention, apparently. And now he's looking pretty good in that 51 car right now. As Dalton comes to pit road, so it looks like his night will probably be over. He'll have some damage to fix, unfortunately, there. Let's check back here on the Talking Giants, number 84, Anthony Calantoni. There's the 93, Kevin Brown, Randy Yoakum in the 811 car. Behind them, John Higman Jr. This is all the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th positions. So going to have some very interesting strategies coming into play here. I want to go ahead and bring this up right now because at that pit stop at lap 38, that left us, if I do my math correctly here, with 87 laps to go. $1 million question, can a B car go 87 laps to the finish of this race? Or do we see somebody... Do we have somebody split this strategy in half? I don't think they can go 87 laps, but I'm not saying that, somebody won't try it. Trey Eitzen here in the 7 car, battling with Doy Woods. He's got Simile there behind him in the 12. As here goes Kevin inside of the 84 car. Kevin had a pretty good save earlier in turn 1 and 2 after some contact. I think the 93 kind of damaged up a little bit from that contact right above the wheel well there, the right front. So our next 5 races. Atlanta, old school Atlanta, coming up next Sunday night. Then we go to The Rock, Iowa, 3 straight worn out surfaces right there. Then we take the Easter weekend off. Bristol the following weekend in Texas Motor Speedway on the 23rd. All those races will be able to be seen here on the Captain Esports Network in the 811.org Grand National Series. Alan Tony working pretty hard there. Rockinham's always fun. It's one of my favorite tracks, just like Darlington. I did not get to share that, by the way. I didn't get to broadcast Wednesday night because of I got home really, really late. Like, I pretty much took the green flag in my work clothes, put it like that, and still finished 6th in that race at Darlington Wednesday night. So, pretty proud of that effort. Here's a battle of a couple friends. Glenn Campbell, Ron Holyfield. This is a battle for the 20th position here. As Campbell gets around the snap-on car. Charles Van Schaik there behind him. Yeah, when I get home late like that, I just had to, unfortunately, get everything set up. And I didn't even wear shoes that night. Usually I have racing shoes I wear. Didn't even do that. So Doy Woods has lost a couple spots. He's fallen back here to where he started, 7th position, the Mark Martin Winn-Dixie Special. Oh, that's what I used to do until I had those shoes. I wear socks. It's I find it very uncomfortable to race with bare feet, or shoes even. Socks, perfect match. Similarly, net coated the wall a little bit there. Mike Kelly trying to hold off his trans-service teammate, if you will. They're Pedro Mojica. Now, these guys who are downshifting, I'm pretty sure, are not going to make it the distance. You know, Joey is out of the race right now on pit road. Is he still down in that channel? Let me send him a message. He might or might not answer me. I'm pretty sure if you're shifting, you ain't going to go 87 laps because all that does is burn off fuel when you run the higher RPM. Go back here. Andrew Teft under attack inside is Van Schaik. I promise you he's over there. And makes the pass. So this is what we're looking at right now. If this race stays green, you've got pit stops probably going to be coming here in the next 5 to 10 laps of those who want to split this run in half. Then you're going to have the guys who may be trying to run this whole run out, which would get them close to the end, and they would be playing the caution game if that happens. And then we'll have to see. Yeah, that's exactly what it comes down to. Your pedals are just depending on how comfortable they are. I mean, like mine actually have little grips, I guess, if you will, on the pedals themselves. Whatever these little black dots are. So yeah, they can be a little uncomfortable. So that's where the socks come into play. That's probably your best way to do it. But people do wear actual racing shoes. I mean, mine are shoes that are made by I think you've seen me promote them a little bit, but the 4D Simwear. You can check out their website if you want. Know the guy pretty well. Up front, Justin Fuller. As Jason Branch comes to pit road, unscheduled stop there. Leads this race as we're just past halfway, coming up to 50 to go this time by. He's got Chad Coleman there behind him, Mike Kelly, Mojica, Trey Radford there in that 94, having a great run tonight. Let's pop this up really quickly again for those who did not see. Here's the point standings. As we entered tonight's race, 16 drivers making the playoffs. And you see Dalton already having a rough run, so he's going to fall down a little bit. Stefan Marinik, no show. He's not here tonight. Jose Gonzalez not here tonight. So there will be some changing going on. You see Troy Radford right down there on the bubble. He is the bubble boy. If you're a fan of Seinfeld, you know that reference. Now he's the blinking boy. Obviously, still plenty. Oh, and caution is out. Caution for the 4th time, and that's going to change everything I just said. And it's for Andrew Teft. So, thankfully, nobody pitted. Andrew Teft into 22. The double deuce goes around. Got a little loose there off of 2, down the back straightaway, and goes in a turn throw. Wow. That was a lick. Did he have help? Oh, he might have gotten some help. Glenn Campbell sent the man packing. Yikes. As pit stops. It's going to be kind of a comedy show, I think, tonight when we review the race. Should be 4 tires and fuel for everybody. Plenty of time. Chad Coleman, another great stop. And I think Coleman was trying to slow up, maybe. Didn't realize who the leader was. And he might have paid for that, doing that move, because I think he might actually be second now. Nope, he did get around Fuller. So, all right, so let me mute race chat before they go say something on the air. And we're going to talk to a driver here real quickly. I think he's in here somewhere. Looking. He is not in here somewhere. I was going to talk to Fuller. Let's talk to Coleman then. Chad running up there in the top 5 right now. Is Chad, you get a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so it looks like you are the leader now. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've been seeing you do has almost backfired on you twice now. Coming off pit road.
Almost speeding?
No, well, it looks like you're almost slowing down to have the other car beat you off pit road. It's the way it looks like on my screen.
No, it's because, like, when I come out of my box, I wide open until I hit, like, 50, 51, and I slam on the brakes, so I don't get caught.
Nice. I thought you were pulling the old, hey, I don't want to be on the outside lane trick here. But man, still great run so far for you. I know you kind of tried to peel the right side off your car there early in this race, but that 38 car has been solid.
Yeah, that's what you kind of caught me in the middle of the conversation. We were talking about our tire wear, and my right side tire wear is worse than Pedro's. It's probably worse than Fuller's and Mike's too. But I was telling him, I said, I think if I didn't have I think I got 12 seconds of it left. I had 15 seconds of damage. That if I didn't have the 12 seconds of damage left, I think I could probably beat Fuller. But man, it's gonna be tough. They're shifting. I haven't really tried it yet, but might have to right here with a little bit of a shorter run.
Yeah, as you come to green.
We ain't went this far yet, so maybe it'll go green to the end.
There you go. Well, as you go green, I warn you in advance, I think there's going to be a fun session tonight, if you know what I mean.
Probably so. I've heard there've been some big ones. Kevin's been in the middle of them.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Chad Coleman leading this race. He's going to bring him to the green flag, and let's move him back to his team name channel. And let me go ahead and remind myself to mute that channel. All right, so Coleman, Fuller, Kelly, Mojica, Eidson into the top 5 for the first time tonight as we go back green. 45 laps to go next time by. So say, Mike, that's not a good time to blink. Oh, hold on, Fuller. What a save. He was swatting flies, needless to say. That's hands and feet on the wheel right there, boys. Three wide off 2. Somebody smacked the wall back there. I think that's the 10. As here comes Pedro. Trey Eidson also in this battle down at 7 car. Simile up the track a little bit as Radford tries to take the spot away. Don't worry, they paint him. I promise. Chad Coleman just ran the fastest lap of the race, 28:23. Wonder why he said his right front's worn out half the time. Robert Andy Yoakum here, 8th position for him. Or, I'm sorry, 11th position for him in the 8. Had it kind of backwards. Back here, there is a mess going on. I'm watching position swap around. One car falling way back. And Mark Creighton in the 77, unfortunately, looks like off the pace. Let's see if we can find what took place here. Potential argy-bargy. Looks like maybe some contact mid-corner with Gillenwater. Right there. Gets into Kevin Stone. Stone gets into Creighton, who has damage on his car. So that's exactly what happened. And Creighton just drops to the bottom, gets out of the way. Probably has a meatball on that car and comes to pit road. He's trying to get to pit road. Creighton does make it in. And I don't mean to the basketball tournament, I mean to pit road. Up front, here comes Pedro. Slides up there in turn 1. Oh, Simley hard into the wall. That a white wall attire. And here comes Fuller now. Heitzen and Kelly want to be a part of this battle. And then back here, Troy Radford now inside of Simley after Scott got the wall, and then it looks like he backed into a pole. Up front, look at this. We got battles everywhere all of a sudden here. Oh, trouble over here, turn 4. Eric Arnold and Jeff Ryan, I think. And I think Gerald Livingston got a piece of it. No caution, though, as they stayed off the track. See what happened here, if I can... It actually happened here, and Arnold got a modified. Arnold, unfortunately, not having a good night. Already had a modified. And unfortunately, Ryan just got in there deep and got into the back of him. So Eric, unfortunately... Oh, they actually did a great job of keeping it off the wall. And up front, new leader, Pedro Mojica. Happened at lap 92. Here is the pass. Pedro sliding up the track there. Little diamond comes off the corner. Takes the lead away as Coleman all of a sudden just heard him key the radio to his crew saying, I keep on sliding the rears. So obviously his tires are probably pretty hot right now and chirping at him. Be like, dude, simmer down. Oh, Kelly just smashed the wall. And that hurt the front end of Trey Heitzen. You can see that nose crinkle up. And now they're into each other and hit hard on the wall. Kelly and Heitzen. Oh, look out. The 10 goes spinning. And the 5th caution out, 29 to go. And once again, a rough run for the pole sitter. Mike just made the mistake here and clobbers the outside wall. Carried too much speed off the corner. They go down the straightaway and into turn 3 and 4. And I wonder if Trayden realized maybe he had some nose damage. And they just hit each other again and bam. Great job by Wood and all these guys to miss this wreck. And then the 10 just, I think, felt like being a part of it. spun out real quick. All right, leaders are in. This could be the final set of tires for everybody. Took me how many weeks to get the Talking Giants people to follow me on Twitter, on Twitter? Come on. All right, 4 tires and fuel. As Eric Arnold, Brian Wortman stay out. There's your tire strategy, I think, right there. Winner off pit road, going to be the 09 of Nigel Standish. I think that's a fuel-only stop, probably. Need to hear the radio right about now. I just heard, I'll be honest with you, the only thing you heard right now is Mike Kelly apologized. That's all. There's really no talk. If you don't believe me, here's 5 seconds of talk right now on the radio. I'm literally turning it on. Here you go. Nothing. You'd be surprised. Like, this kind of league, you don't hear a lot of that stuff. Like, some of the leagues you see when you're streaming me on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, including myself. I am a loose cannon sometimes. Sometimes I have to remind myself, dude, you people watching. See, Chad Coleman just said he had 3 extra seconds of damage from driving across the apron on 1 lap. All right, so next 5 races right here on the screen. Atlanta 2008, so that's the old Atlanta. Coming up here next week, and then Rockingham on the 25th, and then Iowa Speedway on the 2nd of April, Easter weekend / my birthday weekend. We will be off that weekend, and then Bristol the following, and then Texas on the 23rd. And, of course, tomorrow night, the Cup Series, 811 Cup Series from Phoenix Raceway can be seen as Eric Arnold in a modified. Going to start up front here as we go green with Nigel Standish. No tires on that 09. He'll start second. And then the guys behind him. All right. If I could teach anybody a lesson here, I say this every time on a restart when it comes to old tires. On a restart on old tires, if you spin them, your car 99% of the time goes to the right. So be aware of that as these guys go green. If they spin the tires, especially mid-corner coming out of that turn, they're going to turn right. Why is that? I don't know. But 25 laps to go. I wonder if Eric even knows he'll have a nose. Eric launches. Here we go. 09 does a good job getting back to the throttle, but it's going to kill Justin Fuller's run. Fuller into the back of Arnold. Now they're 4 wide down the backstretch. Oh, and around into the wall goes somebody. Justin Fuller into the wall. The 75 of Benefield. Troy Radford with damage. This was huge. Let's see what happens. So, Eric Arnold gets loose. Doors Justin. Justin gets into the wall. There's Kevin DeBrown contact. Oh, and Fuller just gets loose. 94, it's got Simley in it. Gerald Livingston involved. Add Branch. Add Jimmy Coleman, that is, in the white car. And now here there's some action under caution going on. All right, what you guys said about the volume or stuff in chat, now it's happening. Right there, Arnold gets loose, makes the contact. Fuller gets the wall. And all, you know what breaks loose. Let's keep an eye here. What's going on with this battle or something? Oh, wow. Short track tempers. All right, let's go back to this wreck that happened. Let's go on board with... on board with Units Fuller. There's the contact. Now, obviously, the chatter. There's Tony Benfield getting in. There's, sorry, so who was that? That was the Sigmund in the 04 there. It came in at the last minute. So, obviously, the criticism we're hearing, that I'm hearing in chat is a lot towards, obviously, Eric Arnold starting up front. And, he took the chance. And, I questioned, did he know that he had the front end damage? But otherwise, the decisions you make. I mean, you go back to... oh gosh, of course I got to think back to this 2000, was it 18 or 19? The Xfinity race at Homestead, where, was it Eric Jones or Christopher Bell? One of them had to start behind a car that was like nowhere near on pace on old tires, and it cost them the championship. All right, so here we go. So, Pedro Mojica, Chad Coleman, Kevin DeBrown. Yep, where did he come from? That's a good question. Dory Woods, Nigel Standish still on the older tires, top 5. And then there's the 84, Anthony Calantoni. Eric Arnold still there in 7th with Randy Oakham now up to 8th. Kevin the pusher. Going to try to give the push to Pedro. Here he goes. Probably not the right spot to do that. Oh, and now Eric Arnold wrecks with the 8. Simley, big wreck on the back. Fuller again involved. Well, let's see what happens here. Unfortunately, we might, and I hope I'm wrong, have the second verse same as the first. Let's see. 31 hit by the 6. Into the 8, into the 23. Wortman stops. Wortman being Wortman. Unfortunate their situation brings out the 7th caution. Hey, that's part of racing. Unfortunately, when you have people that strategize like that, you have one last set of tires. So you had the whole field comes to pit road, and then you get the 1 or 2 cars that sometimes will stay out, maybe try some kind of strategy or whatnot. That's going to happen. It's part of racing. And the unfortunate thing, I think, that creates the criticism in this deal is rather or not the 31 knew that he had damage to his nose or whatnot. Obviously, in racing, it is the other's job to get around a slower car. Now, at the same time, that slower car has to be a predictable slow car and hold its lane. So there's so many different factors that happen in that kind of thing. So it's a tough spot to be in. But unfortunately, because of that, we have a lot of wrecked race cars now. Just always remember that if you are a slow car, or if you're on older tires or whatnot, make sure you do your best to try to hold a lane so that the cars that are coming on 4 feel goods, or even in a road race, if you're driving in a multi-class race, make sure you stay predictable so that they know where to go. If you don't become predictable, then they're going to run you over, and then you're going to get yelled at. It's not fun getting yelled at. It is fun doing some yelling sometimes, but not fun to get yelled at. All right, going to come to 1 to green, 15 to go. And what has been a wild 811.org call before you dig. Grand National Race. Matter of fact, really quickly, let's hear a word from the 811.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on NC811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, here we go. Getting ready to go back to green. Been using a lot of the drones here for the restarts, and so you can see the spread out of all the cars. Want to go back to that 811 commercial really quickly. It's something I've caught on to from the time I've seen it from the first time to now. Anybody else notice that it looks like the blonde guy in the background is like literally reading or doing the commercial? He's not, obviously, but that's what it looks like. All right, 14 laps to go with Mojica. DeBrown, Coleman, and Hickman gets turned into Gillenwater. And more wrecking in the back. And caution back out. So the way racing goes, you get towards the end of a race, people try to get whatever they can get. And this one, I think, was just a little misjudgment, unfortunately. Yeah, right there. Just, I don't know if, I think Hickman knew he might have been 3 wide because obviously the spotter. But unfortunately, I don't think he realized that Bob was sitting there in the middle lane and just goes down into him. Similar kind of wreck that ended Elliott Sadler's season a couple of years ago when he was going for a championship. T-bone stake for Sigmund. Holyfield into the wall. All right, so I kind of teased the story a little bit ago. That hill over there, straight ahead. The mountain, if you will. So I kind of joked earlier about Transervice being the unofficial sponsor of my press box that I said is up there. Obviously, it was a little bit of a joke there. But that hill, a lot of people know it as Rattlesnake Hill. A previous owner of Phoenix Raceway back in the day named it Rattlesnake Hill to try to scare fans from going up on that hill and watching the race because, believe it or not, it's free to watch from up there. The hill is actually called Monument Hill. And as you see, there are people up there right now. But yeah, you can actually, I don't know if it's free anymore. I'm sure there's a way you got to pay there or something. But The hill is actually called Monument Hill, obviously paying a tribute to people or whatever. I'm not sure the exact story on that part. But the funny and more entertaining part of the story is the fact that it's named Rattlesnake Hill because, well, they keep people up from up there. All right, so still 2 to green here. Let's take a look here as we will likely come the one to go this time by. The point standings again. And let's see who is looked good tonight and who's had issues. Top 2 looking pretty solid. Scott Simley's had a rough race. Scott back in the... Where do I have Scott? Scott's actually 11th right now, so he's not doing terrible. Tyler Dalton, he's out of the race back in 32nd, so he's going to fall a little bit. Bob Gillenwater is 8th. He's going to be okay. Mike Kelly just got a wave around. He'll be back to being 9 laps down now in 25th. Stefan Marinek didn't show tonight, neither did Gonzalez, so they'll fall. Kevin DeBrown running 2nd right now. Steve Ritter is up in the 12th position, so he's looking okay right now. Tom Dreiling is out. He's going to finish last. Tommy Ryan wasn't here tonight. Ron Holyfield is running somewhere. Looking for his name. Somewhere in the top 36. Eric Arnold obviously having some issues. Cal and Tony, a lot of these guys having issues tonight. So there will be some movement, it looks like, in the points as we get ready for the Atlanta Motor Speedway come next week. As the pace car pulls off. And here we go, back to it. Cal and Tony up to the 4th position. There's the 09. I think he was trying to get some kind of good run going to maybe be able to put his new set of tires on, but it hasn't worked out at all. There's the 23. There's a modified up in the top 10. Here comes Kevin. Kevin DeBrown looking to the inside for the lead. Pedro holds him off here for a second. You gonna put a bumper to him? Kevin, I think, trying to diamond a corner here. The problem is when you diamond, you open the door for that car behind you. Six laps to go. Jump back here. The battle for 9th is on. That's Merkel in his first start. Not sure altogether or if this is just a rare first time here in the Grand National Series there in that Nutrient Ag Solution number 10 inside of the 26 and the modified that is. And then there's the 12 with no rear bumper. 12, maybe a little slider there. 23 checks up and simply about ran him over there as they clear each other from the 9th position. Has Kevin got anything for Pedro? He's just driving away now. Kevin might have worn those tires out. Got him too hot. As they go, oh, Sibley's in the wall. As we come to 3 to go. As Pedro brings him to 2 to go. Everybody pretty much single file. Here's a battle back here. That is the 16 of Steve Ritter on the top side. Brian Wortman coming into the picture. He wants a top 10. Took a bad angle into the pits, but I give him credit for trying. They're into turn 3 and 4. And Justin Fuller's up to 13th as somebody clobbers the wall. They're trying to save it back there, and they're just trying to make it to the white flag as Mojica takes it. Final lap here at Phoenix. One thing definitely for sure. As that Pedro Mojica is going to be the guy to beat this season as he comes off 4. Checkered flag in the air, 3rd win of the season for Mojica. As DeBrown and Coleman and Calantoni gets a 4th. Back here, around goes Coleman, or Arnold, I should say, off of the, I think it was the front end of Fuller. So I was peeking at the schedule, and one thing I haven't really done is gone through the full end of the schedule, and want to correct myself. I think I said earlier that Phoenix was the last race on the schedule this season. It's actually not the B card this season. It's Las Vegas. Homestead, Daytona, Las Vegas, the last 3 races. And Phoenix actually isn't even a playoff race this season. So this can be the one time that they run at this track. As you saw Pedro celebrating as we take a look at the finishing results here from, if I can hit the right buttons. Actually, here's what we can do. Your finishing order up there at the top of the screen as Pedro Mojica goes to victory lane. Kevin DeBrown finishing 2nd. Chad Coleman finishing 3rd. Anthony Calantoni finishing 4th. And Doy Woods going to be your top 5. Nigel Standish finishing in the 6th position. Mike Montesi finishing 7th. And Bob Gillenwater finishing in the 8th position. Good bounce back. He had kind of a rough night, and I'm sure he's going to feel pretty bad for what took place here this evening. Kyle Merkel finishes 9th. Jeff Ryan finishing 10th with Steve Ritter in 11th. Charles Van Schaik in 12th. Kevin Stone 13th. Justin Fuller finishes 14th. Brian Wortman finishing in the top 15 tonight. 16th going to Eric Arnold. Scott Simley 17th. Ron Holyfield 18th. Andrew Teff 19th. And Stoney Benfield, easy for me to say, finishing 20th. Randy Oakham 21st. Doug Sigmund 22nd. Trey Eidson 23rd. All these guys had issues towards the end of the race. Mike Kelly 24th. Troy Radford 25th. Jason Branch 26th. John Hickman Jr. 27th. Glenn Campbell 28th. Gerald Livingston 29th. Jimmy Coleman finishing in the 30th position. Mark Creighton 31st. 32nd, EJ O'Rourke. 33rd to Tyler Dalton. 34th, Joey Jatina. 35th to Garrett Austin. Tom Dreiling finishing in the 36th position unofficially. And let's talk to some drivers. Let's start with our third place finisher. All these guys in team name. Chad Coleman gets himself a great finishing position tonight as you finished third, Chad. Good run. I know I overheard you there at the end say, hey, man, I wish I'd have started shifting sooner. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, this is pretty much like what you heard. I wish I'd have started shifting sooner. I was paying attention to the track temp, and it seemed like once the track temp got into like mid 120s, it's like there was enough extra grip there that they could get like really good drive off with shifting, and it wouldn't buzz the tires. And me not shifting, it felt like I got a little tighter, and it was really beneficial right there. I didn't start shifting until probably the last 10 or 15 laps, and by then I was like, dang, I probably should have been doing this probably for the last 30 or 40 laps. But I didn't think I needed it because Fuller was shifting and he wasn't really going anywhere. He wasn't getting away from me. Pedro was shifting. He wasn't coming anywhere. Mike was shifting. I could get away from him, and then it got cooler and shifting was fast. So live and you learn. But good third place finish. I'll take it. I wish I could have passed Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a great finish, great race for you guys there. Yeah, the one thing I heard you say, I think it was about 40 to go, maybe even 30 to go, somewhere in that range. I heard you kind of throw a quote out there that I was like, oh, that's not good for his sake, when you said I've buzzed off the rear tires.
Yeah, I buzzed them really good right there for a couple of laps, but it came back. Like, I just, with not shifting and stuff, it seemed to like hit a plateau, and I was fine. But I just right there at the end, definitely the shifting was the way to go. Probably the last, I'd say probably the last 30, 40 laps. Shifting was definitely the way to go. Like when Pedro got by me right there and Fuller got by, that was 100%. That was just them shifting. I couldn't turn the center of the corner, and they were shifting, and they could get it pointed, and they could get it pointed faster than I could, and that was pretty much it with them having not buzzing the tires due to the a bit better track temp. So we learned, but we got beat by one really good guy and one really lucky guy. So,
so what's that say about you?
I'm just back there waving my hands. Wait for me, guys.
Throw the fishing pot roll. Hey, I'm reeling you in. Great job tonight, man. Send some shout outs.
Yeah, just congrats to Pedro for winning. Hell, we knew he was going to be a factor. I was like, God, I hope he stays back there and keeps getting stuck in air and stuff. But he didn't. He figured it out. And congrats to Kevin. I don't think he wrecked, but maybe once this race. So, that's a step up for him. And then, hell, he come back and finished good. So, good job to him. Good job to everybody else in team name. See, I think Doy might have still got a top 5 out of this deal, too. So,
yep.
Everybody team name had a really good race tonight. So, rest of them had a whole lot of fun racing with Fuller and Mike and Pedro and all those guys. Man, we had a blast. It's so much fun doing this when you can race with guys that you can race really hard and just race the crap out of them. And for the most part, you can depend on them not wrecking you. So that's fun. Like I've told everybody, I don't mind getting wrecked if we're racing hard like that.
Right.
I just hate the stupidity stuff. But that was a lot of fun. So maybe tomorrow we can do it again. Maybe tomorrow it'll be a lot of fun too. So we'll try it then.
I'm sure it will be, and I'm pretty sure you're definitely shifting tomorrow. So, that's another story for another day there. But hey, man, great job tonight. Congrats on your third place finish. Another good points night. Hold up on the videos. And side note, Kevin actually, I think, had a little help on his one deal. Wasn't his fault this time for once.
Oh, well, that's a change.
All right, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. I'll bring the popcorn, by the way.
Okay.
As Chad Coleman joins us there, finishing in the third position. Let's get our winner up here. as he's got a prior engagement, I've been told. So let's get Pedro up here now and get our winner up here. Pedro has I think a photo shoot or something for a sponsor. I don't know. But anyways, he got that after the race here. But a victory tonight or this afternoon here at Phoenix. Great job, man. You kind of, I don't want to say played possum with him, but maybe a little bit there as you ran 4th or 5th throughout the night and just kind of waited and waited and waited. And finally, about 40 to go, here comes Pedro.
Yeah, Chris, honestly, I thought that's where we were going to finish, was about 4th or 5th, to be honest, because it was super hard to pass. Track position was really important. It just, you couldn't really make anything happen on the bottom. You know, the guy could pinch you on the outside and carry the momentum. So, I mean, honestly, the first half of the race, I wasn't too happy. Crew chief was doing everything he could to calm me down. I was super frustrated just because this, you know, you feel like you have the pace, but you couldn't really do anything because of, you know, all the dirty air and how hard it was to pass. But honestly, we got lucky when the yellows came out. So between like running some laps and kind of feeling out downshifting versus not downshifting, you know, those yellows kind of came out at opportune times for myself where, you know, I learned a little bit the first run and I applied it in the second run. I learned a little bit the second run and applied it in the last run. I think we just got better as the run went. I mean, also fortunately, you know, I was able to, like, you know, the second run I was able to position myself in 4th, which was actually it was really beneficial for me because the last restart, or not necessarily the last restart, but the restart after we last pitted, I was on the outside and I was actually had a good restart. Mike kind of didn't have as good of a restart, and I was able to hang on Mike's outside. Fuller was doing everything he could to hang on Chad Coleman's outside, and he about wrecked. And when he saved it, well, in the end of all that, I ended up coming out of the smoke in second, and I think that was really the move of the race, to be honest, because it was so hard to pass, which I think you saw Fuller try to pass me a couple times back, but it just was so difficult to pass on the inside that he couldn't finish the job, and we were able to hold him off. I finally got to Chad, and I had to kind of do a slide job on him just to even get by him. So as I said, it was so hard, but dude, once we got by Chad, then I knew we were in a really good spot because, yeah, the yellows kept coming out, and I had the track position. So at that point, it was just kind of just make sure not to screw up getting in the corner. So, yeah, heck of a race, man. I wouldn't say this is one of my best tracks, but it's awesome to get in victory lane.
You know, it's funny. I said earlier that I'm like, yeah, it'd be a good way to get ready for the finale. And I look over the schedule, I'm like, oh, wait, it's not even on the schedule the rest of the season. So, bummer on that part. But I want to go back to the last couple restarts. Of course, there was we'll call it controversy. We'll just leave that alone right now. I want to more talk about your situation on the restart. Because obviously you had the front 2 cars had no tires. So obviously the advantage for you came on the restart where the car on the inside was the leader and was able to launch, where it caught Fuller up behind the second place car there. How much did that put you in the position to win this race?
Oh, I mean, that was huge. Yeah, I guess that's what I meant to say. Well, I forgot about that whole sequence. I was thinking more of the sequence before. Yeah, because that sequence. So what I had mentioned before with being in 4th, that was like the restart before that one.
Right.
So this one, yeah, I mean, I knew I was in a good spot just because I was behind Eric Arnold, who was the leader to start. So I knew I was in a good spot. It just was, how was Nigel going to go off the start? And honestly, for myself, it couldn't have gone any better because, yeah, Fuller got stuck behind Nigel. So then he was battling Nigel. He got stuck behind Eric, and he was battling Chad and Eric and all them. So I would say, you know, that was a big sequence for sure, you know, because I jumped out ahead. Now, granted, I don't know what would have happened the rest of the way if, you know, if Fuller didn't get caught up in a wreck and a yellow came out later. Like, Fuller's really good, especially on a short run. He's good at these kind of tracks. So it would have been interesting to see what would have happened. But unfortunately for him, that, you know, he got caught up in an accident. So we had a lot of good racing there 3/4 of the way through the race. So it would have been fun for sure. But yeah, I mean, that was a big moment for sure.
And it worked out for you, man. Going to victory lane, 3rd time this season in 5 starts. So that's good. Now you get to go to an old Atlanta track, which I know you're pretty solid at these older surfaces, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So great job, and send some shouts whoever you like to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Chris, and Captain Esports for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully we put on a good show for you. Appreciate NC811 for jumping on board in this series. Appreciate everything they do for Sim500. All the admins at Sim500, I appreciate what they do. Glenn Campbell and Trans Service, I'm glad they jumped on board this year to help sponsor us in the Cup Series and also in the Xfinity Series. So glad to be representing him well, and appreciate Tyler for painting the car. All the guys at Team Name, appreciate them. It was a lot of fun. And then, the family for letting me come and hang out for a little bit and have some fun.
Well, great job, and go enjoy that win, and we'll see you tomorrow night here at Phoenix, and go ready for that photography session or whatever you have.
Thanks.
All right, buddy. As Pedro Mojica celebrating in victory lane real quickly, doing a hat dance, all he's got to do before his stuff he has to do is Kevin Brown joins us after a second-place finish, even... I think gave a little shot to Pedro there, a couple laps into that run. I'm like, oh, he's going to put the horn to him. But man, just a little bit short, but a great bounce back after you were pretty much nose on into the inside wall early in this race.
Yeah, definitely. This is not one of my favorite tracks at all. I honestly hate this track with a living passion, but it's a great rebound for what happened at the beginning.
Yeah, it was a great bounce back for you. But talk about your race, because you obviously had a lot of green flag racing there, and then right before the action happened there towards the end, you finally found yourself up there in the top 5. What'd you have to do to get there?
Honestly, just staying out of the issues. I think we almost got involved in about 2 or 3 wrecks there in the back, but and having great pit stops too, and I finally figured out shifting was the way to go.
Yeah, shifting seemed to be the word of the night tonight, and of course it's going to be the word tomorrow night too. But fantastic job, and I know a good points night considering the season you've had so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's great carrying the momentum from Monday. Hopefully we can do it again tomorrow, and hopefully next week too. That way we can stay in the points.
Well, great job, man. Send some shouts whoever you like to.
Yeah, of course. Racing Pride coming on this year. Chris Blue painting a beautiful paint scheme. Sim500, the guys at Team Name. 1, 2, 3 finish. Pretty nice. You put on a beautiful broadcast. Can't wait to watch it tonight. And ready for Phoenix tomorrow.
Well, great job. Go tell Chad to hold off because I'll be down there in a few minutes. And great job tonight, man. And go enjoy your second place finish.
Thanks, man.
All right, buddy. Kevin Brown finishing in the second position here as he goes down, and we're going to go down and enjoy the party of wrecks that we got to see tonight. Basically, long story short, what I keep talking about is I've actually started to join them. We go down there, the whole league almost goes down there, and we all just start laughing and joking and sometimes even getting personal a little bit with others on what has happened in the race. It's kind of funny, actually, when it's all over with. So, tomorrow night, 8:30, we'll be back for the 811 Cup Series from Phoenix Raceway. Looking forward to that. Last season was a very fun race. They're actually going to run it, the sim time will be later in the afternoon because of track temperatures and looseness and all that different stuff, because you know how these guys like to race where it's hard, and I have no problem with that. So should be a lot of fun as we get ready to go racing tomorrow night at Phoenix Raceway. So with that, we're heading out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Have a great week, and always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.